Okay, good morning. Thank you very much for coming. It's a great day in Bentry, great day to be here. A lot of learning, things to do, reports from our executive committee. I always started off with our mission, which is what we go by here on the board. Living in Bentry is a privilege, which includes the responsibility to care for the natural world around us. Therefore, Lake and Wildlife works to preserve the natural beauty and wildlife of Bentry by encouraging BTCI and all residents to be good stewards of our natural resources. And our three focus items, obviously at all times, are to monitor, to educate, and volunteer. Harold will give us a little update from the board. Thanks for coming, Harold, appreciate it.
Love being on time. The board did a lot of stuff this week, or this month. Most of it was just busy work, what I call busy work. First of all, I'd like to point out, she just gave me a flyer here about Learning Tree. And I'll just read this. Bentry's Learning Tree is back and holding 5 evening classes May 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. Each session will cover a different topic, including Bentry history and construction, governance, operation, and finances. This is a board-sanctioned educational forum facilitated by volunteer committee members. Where is she? Mary Lou Wayne's got the applications right there if you want an application. The board, we had ad hoc committees report on board initiatives, including the amenities committee, and they announced there's some new possibilities investigating details to be presented in April. The Private Pass campaign is a trial program, folks. Despite social media posts, and I know everything you read on the internet is true, it will be limited to 10 maximum opportunities this year. So far, there's only been 4 inquiries. So it's a trial program. If it works, we're going to expand it next year. The board will expand it and see what we can do with that. The Food and Beverage Committee reported that tavern numbers, usage and income has greatly improved in March, and changes seem to be making an impact, especially without our Florida snowbirds arriving back, and they'll be back soon, and hopefully that'll make the numbers look even better. The 28-acre committee is investigating, that's down on Cove Road, is investigating all possible uses as seen in the Friday news last week. Input from all residents is encouraged as the best possible uses for this property. This input should be directed to board committee chair Brian Feehan or Laird Carmichael. The ADA work at the tavern is now complete, including the new bathroom. Minor touches such as painting the rails is still being in progress, but it's usable now. The new run-in shed, you might have seen this in the paper or Friday news, the run-in shed at the stables was dedicated in March to enhance our equestrian program. A marketing strategy was implemented by Teree to include advertisements of Bentry in Golf Georgia and Golf Center magazines, and new digital advertising will begin soon. The new spillway bridge is complete. We appreciate that. I think Lake and Wildlife is going to be doing the work staining that. Okay, the possibility of outsourcing road striping is being investigated to compare costs to doing it in-house. We've got people that can do it in-house, but they're going to compare costs to see if we can get it maybe done a little faster. Building and Grounds has completed work at the basketball courts down at the beach area. New volleyball nets there, and new grills are being installed. New pipe has arrived to start laying pipe for the 2024 plan. They're planning on installing 4,500 more feet of new pipe, mostly on Tamarack from the middle of Tamarack on the far side of the lake to the spillway area. The renovation of the tavern and kitchen area is now complete. It's looking, if you're an artist, they're looking for artwork to put on the walls, and you can put it up just to have it displayed, or if you want to put a for sale sign on it, you can do that too. So artist seats, chef wine. New lunch discount card is becoming quite popular. Again, see chef in the tavern to take part in that. The Mexican Around the World night was sold out, and this month will be Baltic month on one of the Wednesday nights, so take advantage of that. The Easter brunch was a sellout. Michael Corey has worked with the Amazon delivery people to reduce the number of trucks and the number of incidents on our roads, and hopefully that'll continue. We're waiting on the Wildcat Fire Prevention Grant, still waiting on getting approval from the federal government. You know how that works. Probably, I'll be too old to care. It's a good program if it ever gets here. And on April 13th, there's going to be a fall prevention class sponsored by Stevens Lake and Northside Hospital. Most of our public safety calls are concerned with people falling. So if you need info about that, or someone you know needs help about falling, be sure to register through public safety for this class. And last but not least, one of our public safety employees, Ray Peters, was awarded the Medal of Valor, honored by Pickens County as the Public Safety Person of the Year. Congratulations to Ray. Thank you.
That's awesome.
See Mary Lou about the learning tree class. Yes, sir.
Harold, thank you very much.
Thanks, Harold.
Really appreciate it. Thanks, Harold. I'd like to thank all the board members, especially the board members that are here today. Buddy, Mike, and thank you for all your help. And those that are here for doing what you do for us and looking at where you can save some money and help us. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, now we're going to move on to committees, and each one will give a couple minutes of what's going on and what to look for in the coming days. First of all, fundraising. Marietta.
This time of year, my name is really Fanny Fundraiser. This is a very busy month, so I'm going to try to keep this brief. But hanging baskets, if you pre-ordered, pickup is Wednesday, 10 to 12 at the cottage. And thank you for those people who ordered those. Tamarack collections, today and Monday are your last opportunities to really bring us any donations. And I want to thank our collections committee who's done a great job. If anybody in the room has done collections, raise your hand please so we can, I know, Linda Blanchett, yeah, she's here. Okay, we have a great team led by Deb White and Kathy Daly, and they're doing a bang-up job. This coming week, the link will come out for Sign Up Genius, so if you can help us during the sale by wrapping things or displaying things or working in the bakery, please sign up. If you have troubles with that, just give me a call. Those of you who got here a little bit earlier this morning got one of these cards. It's an invitation, and this is a kind of a reminder card for you of the dates and the times. But it's also something that you can share with friends that you have outside of entry. You can either take a picture and show it to them or hand it to them. And please, on Saturday is our Friends and Family Day. We'd love to get some folks in here, but of course, anybody you invite, you need to call into the front gate. The Wednesday night times are going to be in conjunction with a concert downstairs, so that's going to be very nice.
Friday
as well.
night, right?
Sorry, Friday night. Thank you. And Sunday is our bargain day. Everything is 50% off. We'd love to see you be able to take advantage of some of that. Let's see here. Whispering Springs volunteers. We are on the other side of the card is our Whispering Springs Days first weekend in May. Denise McCabe is going to head that up, but she's looking for, I think, 6 more volunteers only, 6 more slots. The sign-up sheet is right there on the corner. So if you'd like to put in 2 hours of time and go over and help water plants, help people to their cars with their plants, we sure would appreciate your volunteer time on that. Any questions? Yes.
Rumor has it that all 3 rooms of Club Tamarack will be used for the Tamarack Treasures. Is that correct?
That is correct. So that's why we need even more volunteers to help out this time. There'll be furniture and artwork and accessories down here and sports goods. And upstairs in the bakery we'll have books and goodies to eat. And then household items and decor items will be upstairs. So we hope to see you. Thank you.
Tremendous job, Mary. It's going to be quite a spectacular this year. We'll look right on the KVTV and Andy. Anything?
Whispering Springs, my wife just announced it is May 3rd and 4th. That's a Friday and a Saturday. We need some volunteers to help at Whispering Springs. because the same morning on Friday, May 3rd is our mass spring planting. So we will have our wholesaler truck delivered at 8 o'clock in the morning, a whole bunch of vinca and begonias and all kind of neat stuff. And then we need help with Cove Road entrance, we need help with the administration area, we need help with the back gate. I see John Jameson here. Are you still working on back gate with the with the Sinclair? Good. And then that's it. So be looking for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Great job. Great work. Don't forget the May work day. That'll be great. Elden, you got a couple things I know you wanted to talk about.
Good morning. Things are kind of quiet on the wildlife front. I think the bears are out. Anybody seeing bears lately?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, they're out. Seeing fewer deer. I just had somebody tell me that they hadn't seen any deer since January. But they're
They're out there still.
so they're still around. We the results of the deer survey, like all government agencies, are running behind schedule, and we thought we'd have a final report by the early spring, but it'd probably be later spring before we hear anything. But they're still working on it, so looking forward to that. Anybody see any geese on the lake? Anybody seen them on the shore where the beacons are? So maybe the beacons are working okay. They're out there, and if they stay on the lake, I think we're fine. But haven't had any reports on feral hogs. Anybody hear anything about feral hogs? Okay, quit feeding them. Yeah. Okay, yeah, they're still at the top of the mountain, but so far it hadn't been a problem. Other than that, the birds are building nests, they're singing, and beautiful time out there. The only other thing I want to mention is as the hiking club coordinator, we've got an exciting hike coming up later this month at DeSoto State Park, which is right across the border into Alabama between Mentone and Fort Payne. That's on the 24th of this month. There's an article in the Echo with the information if you'd like to participate. It's a one-nighter, and so there's 12 rooms that were reserved, and I think there's still some rooms available at a cut rate. So think about it, give it some thought. That's on the 24th. It's a one-nighter, and looking forward to seeing you there. Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Elden.
Thank you, Elden. Great job on, okay, Lake and Streams. Huff, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to say quickly for us.
Current plans are that next week we're actually going to be shocking the lake to bring the fish up and doesn't hurt the fish. We sample them, we check the size, the population. Last year we put in 50,000 5-inch bluegill, 2,000 walleye, 7 loads of threadfin shad. I didn't count the number, but it's just thousands. And 2,000 pounds of crawfish. The purpose of that was to feed the bass, which were underfed from the last shocking we had, and to keep them off the bluegill. When we shock the lake again next week, we'll know more about what needs to be done and what areas we need to include in this year's plan. We also have 38 habitat structures in the lake, which provide areas for the little hatchlings to be able to hide from the big fish and grow up. And we have 8 feeders on the lake. Next month, we have the CEO of Aquatic Environmental Services coming to speak to us, who are responsible for giving us our plans for how to make the lake better and better for fishing. And it has been significantly better. Those of you who've been fishing in the last 2 years have seen quite a different response. 8 feeders, we're going to start feeding on Saturday, this Saturday. And those of you who have feeders, remember I'm giving food out at the beach fire station at 1 o'clock on today, this afternoon at 1 o'clock. Just want to mention that during Youth Fest on July the 2nd, I and Elden and Gerald Hunter are hosting 7 or 8 kids. I've got 7 or 8 captains lined up with boats to take them fishing for a couple hours, come back, teach them how to clean the fish, and Elden's going to teach them how to cook the fish. So we're going to have a fish fry and a fishing adventure for the kids. So if you have any grandchildren or something coming, it's going to be limited spots by the limited captains we have, but make sure you sign up for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And those grandparents and parents who come to pick up the fish are invited to the fish fry to have fish with the kids too. So that's on July the 2nd. So we've got a lot going on. Next month, at the next partners meeting in May, we're going to talk a lot about fishing, what we've done to the lake, what we could do in the future. But we're just about in a situation now after this year of having naturally reproduction food in the lake, with the crawfish laying eggs, with the threadfin shad spawning, with the bluegill spawning, and the bass spawning. We're in pre-spawn period right now with the fish. We think from the moon and everything, water temperature, April 23rd is going to be the big spawn date for the bass, but that's an estimate. But anyhow, so next month it'll be great fun. Don't forget July 2nd for Youth Fest.
Thanks, Ed.
Have you had any reports about walleyes being caught?
I've caught 3. Two I caught on a drop rig, which is a little weight on the bottom and the lure up about 14 inches, sitting on the bottom, and the lure goes like that down at 65 feet. I saw where they were down there. I caught 2 that day. I've caught 1 more foul hooked one by mistake, fishing down deep too, but it wasn't, I don't call that a catch, it was just an incidental catch. And I haven't been able to catch one since then, but the biologists tell me that as the fish get larger and they get hungrier, they become much more aggressive to catching. I'm going to get one of the biologists to bring his boat out here with an electric motor. He's got a forward-facing sonar that's going to identify exactly where the walleye are, and I'll report that to you as I can.
How long are they?
Great, thanks, Huff. Okay, moving right along. Thanks for all you're doing, Huff. It's working. I'm going to keep it short too on streams. Very, very busy month. Last month was streams. We put in over 60 hours of volunteer work doing the stream pH, DO, chemical, the macros, those little nice bugs that live and create all the nice things in the lake for the fish to eat, so that Huff can go fishing. And also, we did a physical analysis. We also, Sue and I attended the annual Adopt a Stream conference up in Holland, the annual conference, and many people talked to us about how great our data was and information. We didn't win an award, but that's okay. We're happy with what we're doing, and those that came up to us had a lot of applause, including this week. The stream people from Big Canoe came over and took a look at what we're doing here, because as he said, we're failing, and we can be proud of what we're doing here in our lakes and streams. And
Big Canoe is failing.
yeah,
Is that what you said? You said we're failing. You don't mean us.
no. So anyway, and then today I'll go down and attend the Upper Etowah River Alliance annual stockholder meeting. We're all part of that group in that area, so we'll keep in touch with them so that we have people to talk to and people to work with. And the Lakes and Streams, the DO is up. And Mason, thanks for your help doing that this month again. And the pH is up 7, and DO is up to 10 in some areas. Salinity's good, alkalinity, survivability. So the streams are doing well. They're clear, they're clean, and the lake has got a lot of good same pH and DO to keep those fish alive. All right, so let's move on. Habitat conservation, Dara?
Yeah, you know, in the interest of time, I might just skip that since our whole program today is gonna be about habitat and plants, and we'll touch on some key points during our program. So, what do you think?
I think, good idea, thank you. Just gonna quick move through, Dara also handles communications, the Friday news, which y'all get.
Yeah, if anybody has ideas about how you'd like to receive information from Lake and Wildlife differently than what you get, talk to me about it. Let's figure out how to get information out there more effectively if you feel like you're not hearing it.
Thank you, Dara. On special projects, there's not a lot of projects going on right now. The admin pad is to be finished. There's some work going on with that right outside admin. And of course, there's a dock investigation off of Lower Sally Dawson, what we might do with that dock to fix it and make it better. Special events, Luann, you have anything else to add for?
Just remember at the Tamarack Treasures Bakery, we need baked goods. We can bring them in on Friday. We can bring them Thursday if we need, or if we want to bake and freeze ahead, we can get them right up to the last minute. So all kinds of baked goods, and the fish fry will be in June. It looks like we're running into a scheduling issue with fryers and the room being open for May. So it looks like we're gonna pick a date in June.
Great. Thanks, Luann. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for getting the coffee and donuts this morning. Appreciate it. Mason, do you have a quick update that you'd like to give it all on trails?
I don't have much to report. I had ordered some high visibility blazes for the new Calvert trails, and they're in. I haven't installed them yet. Ran into a little problem. The trail that we had preliminary marked out in the fall for the new Orange Trail on Chestnut Cove, we hiked that in the wet season, and it's awful. So we're in the process of rerouting that at the present time. And I think we got that settled out pretty much. Got to do a little bit of fine tuning on that before we can really get it blazed and opened up. We're close to the property line on the upper limit, and so the new route, we've got to check that against property lines to make sure that we're on the right side of the invisible line. So things are in the works, but nothing concrete right now.
Great. Thanks a lot. Thanks for all you do on the trails. Mason, volunteers, just.
Yeah, so we started a couple, 3 months ago, trying to recognize as we move along those folks who are working on behalf of Lake and Wildlife. We made a decision that executive team members are not, the leadership team, I guess I'd say, is not allowed to participate because we work tirelessly on behalf of Lake and Wildlife. But others who give a few hours here and there to pull weeds or remove invasive plants, collect Tamarack Treasure donations, help on the trails, work days, whatever. So you get to, and you're here today, so it's an encouragement to come to the meetings. You get to put your name in this little basket, and we have prizes. We'll draw one. There's a gift certificate to Tamarack Treasures and some other goodies to pick from. It's kind of like a little treasure chest. So Peter, pull one for me. All right, here we go. So here's our volunteer winner of the month is Linda Blanchett. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. So before you leave today, the little collection of goodies there on the end of the table, just pick whichever floats your boat. Thank you.
Thank you, Dara. Thank you, Linda. Congratulations. And they work with us at admin on that. Denise was unable to make it today as far as the treasurer's report, but I'll give you a quick synopsis, which is good. Oh, maybe it's her. No. The March revenues totaled $401. The expenses were $896. And the ending balance in our account was $13,399. So we're in good health and we're meeting our balanced budgets and also our minimums. So anything else on finance, you can check on the line and on inside the Bentry Lake and Wildlife website. Upcoming May, of course, the fish, that's a biologist that's going to speak that Huffs arranging June. We'll have NASA Skywatch Star night program. In July, there will be no meeting. In August, we'll have Lori Forrester here from Adopt a Stream, who's our regional director over us at Adopt a Stream here, and she'll speak to us about all the streams and lakes and all the monitoring that we do. Now, before Dara, there's one other thing I have to mention. That is that Rick asked me and others, if anyone here is good at woodworking and can work in woodworking, that Gary Rivas, who's handling that for Youth Fest, needs some help putting those little woodworking kits together. So if you could help Gary, that'd be great.
All right. I hope y'all are as excited about this and have as much fun with this program as I anticipate. So, you know, trees are referenced over 200 times in the Bible. Plants in general hold sacred meanings in all cultural and religious traditions around the world. In harvesting a plant for food, medicine, or craft, the Cherokee Indians would move through a series of rituals that included circling a plant, approaching it from the south, speaking to it, acknowledging its gift before they harvested it. And plants are not like deer or fox or squirrels that run away from us as we approach. Plants wait for us. They're rooted, they're settled, and it's possible for them to survive this way because they manufacture food. They use dirt, water, sun, and air to create food. They are the middlemen in the transition of the energy of the sun to our bodies. And this ability to create food is a significant survival advantage for them. They do not need to forage. They do not need to hunt to survive. In some native languages, the term for plants translates to those who take care of us. Green plants are our allies in survival. When we harvest plants or sit down to a meal, we should consider the miracle of greenness. It's hard not to consider that miracle right now in the spring when our world here in Bent Tree is coming alive with greenness. And we really enjoy the expansive views. We talk about the greenness moving up the mountain. We like looking across the lake and seeing what's coming to life. But for the most part, in today's world, we do not think about the bounty of greenness in our food system. We may grow a cherry tomato plant or two, maybe some vegetables. But with the advent of modern agriculture, we look to get our food from the supermarket, not in the wild spaces around us. But consider a time, wasn't that long ago, when the wild spaces around us was our source of food. And were we in a position ever to need to find our food from the wild, or simply wanted to supplement our diets with variety, freshness, the goodness that can be found in wild plants, could we tell the edible plants from toxic ones, from inedible ones, from those that would make us sick? Or if the ready supply of medicine at the pharmacy dried up? Given that most of our modern medicines are synthetic substitutes of naturally occurring plant compounds, we have the originals out in the wild around us. But even say we had a book that told us what to look for, would we understand it? Could we read it? So black cohosh, for example, provides relief from anxiety and insomnia. And this is what you'll find if you read about the description of black cohosh. Black cohosh leaves are alternate, twice or thrice compound in a pinnate pattern. Individual leaflet size and shape vary with position in the large compound leaves. Most often, leaflets are coarsely serrate, lobed to deeply incised, with a truncate base and an acute tip. Sound like Greek, right? Would you know what that meant, right? I'm guessing many of us might struggle to understand that. So today, instead of admiring the long-range view, we're going to focus small, and we're going to consider how to look at an individual plant. There are more than 400,000 types of plants in the world. Most are herbaceous plants, when that just means they're not a tree. They don't have a woody stem. It's not a tree or a shrub. And we're going to learn the basics of differentiating one from the other. Successful plant identification involves learning how to see the components of a plant, much like learning how to recognize specific instruments in music. When you listen to a symphony and you're able to pick out the various instruments that you hear, then it means more to you. And as we single out these components and we really see them, we will learn a bit of the language in which to interpret and communicate what we see. So we will be able to find meaning in the reference books and in things that botanists have documented for us. Flowers are the easiest way to identify plants. If you find a plant that has a flower on it, we know a lot of what those look like, or you can snap a picture and you can get a pretty clear identification with the flower. But flowers only last for brief periods of time on various plants. For the most part, what you're going to be able to have in front of you to identify a plant is the leaves. So that's where we're going to focus. All right, what we're going to do is make botany books. Everybody's going to make their very own. You're going to do this by drawing, right? Because drawing forces you to really see something. You have to examine it in order to draw it. We're going to be making 6 chapters, which are the most critical identification characteristics of leaves, okay? So I want everybody should have books on their table. Does anybody not have enough on their table? I have plenty, all right? So take a minute, pick up that book, touch the paper. Remember that it is the flesh of a tree, that paper. And I want you to personalize it with, on the front, your name, a drawing, whatever you're going to look at and know that's yours as compared to your neighbors. So take a minute to personalize your book on the front. All right, on your tables, you have large papers, right? If you haven't turned them over, turn them over. Let's do it. Well, they're in order, so don't pull them off the top. Take the whole stack. Take the whole stack and turn them over. Oh, well, stack them back up. Because you need to have this one, leaf shape. All right, that's the first thing we're going to learn about is leaf shape, okay? So mark in your book, chapter 1, leaf shape, okay? All right. And on this very first page, you have 3 shapes and some components of leaves, all right? The first leaf shape is ovate. It's called ovate because ova is the Latin word for eggs. And some scientists in years past thought this shape looked like an egg, all right? So draw the ovate shape. Here, I'm going to put these down for you. I'm sorry. I took theirs. I'm sorry. I was like, why are y'all looking at me like that? And I took your favorite.
So the first one is
First is ovate. Mm-hmm. So label them just like those pictures.
this one.
Can we do them out of order?
No, we need to do them in order. So everybody needs to be looking at this one at your table. This one right here. Yeah, so y'all have to figure out a way to share them. Some people might look upside down, I don't know, or pass it down. Ovate, which means egg-shaped. Ova, egg, right? So a little bit of Latin here to go with it. No test. No, this is just for your learning. The more symmetrical shape in the middle, which where the base and the tip are the same width, that's called elliptical. So you see that one? You do want to add the components of the leaf, the tip, the base, the blade, right? You see those labeled? You want to add those into your book? Maybe make another drawing on that page bigger if you need to add those labels. Or turn it over. You got plenty of pages. Make another drawing so that you can add the base tip, the leaf stalk. It's called a petiole. I've got more pencils if anybody breaks a tip. I don't have a sharpener. Got erasers if you need one. Okay. Right. Try to make sure you differentiate the leaf shapes on the ovate where the base is wider. On the obovate, ob meaning opposite of ovate. The wider part is at the tip. The next page, when you're ready, has some additional leaf shapes. These are just a few. There are so many, but just to give you an example, the star leaf shape, stellate, the heart leaf shaped, cordate, the long, skinny, more like a lance or a spear, right? Lanceolate, and oblanceolate, where the tip is fatter than the base, right? So those are the only other ones we're going to draw. There's lots of them, but just as an example to see where there are leaf shapes where there are appendages, like in the stellate, that come out from the middle part of the blade. And it doesn't have to fit all on one page, right? Use your book. Go to other pages. Make your drawings as big as you want.
Are they always 5?
No, they're not always 5. Well, in stellate.
Yes.
Or stellate. I'm not exactly sure. I try to go listen to how these are exactly
So they can
pronounced.
be other than 5.
Yes, there are lots of different leaf shapes. Yes. Mm-hmm. And cordate is like a heart. You're not making one?
I'm helping her.
Oh, y'all are. It's a joint project. I got you.
listening.
Okay.
Cheerleader.
All right. So you notice those more complicated leaf shapes like stellate and cordate, they have appendages that jut out from the main body of the blade, right? Those appendages, in whatever form they take, are called lobes. All right. That's a general definition of the appendage that would jut out from the main part of the blade. And the space between those appendages is called the sinus. All right, you think about your sinuses being empty space inside of your head, right? That's called the sinus. And these things become important. So these concepts of lobes and sinus on one of the other pages in your stack, you should draw those. There are nuances to the base and the tip that can become important. Are they symmetrical left to right or not? Do they converge to the top abruptly or gradually? And there are words for all of those, but what we have so far is what we're going to stick with in terms of leaf shape. We're not going to go into all of those nuances. It'll be Plant Botany 201 or 301.
I would flip it over.
Okay, chapter 2. All right, all the leaves we've drawn so far have smooth margins or smooth edges. That's the margin of a leaf. Okay, so we're going to talk about the variations in leaf margins. If you see a leaf like that ovate leaf, but it looks like it has teeth on the edges, like the edges of a saw, right? That's called serrate or toothed. And sometimes they have more than one size of teeth, called double serrate. A leaf like a white oak leaf that it curves, it's not smooth along the edges, but it curves, that's called an undulate margin. Okay, so you can see Why? Susan. All right. Sometimes something that appears to be smooth can actually have tiny hairs, and that's called ciliate. All right, so let's look at the leaf margins and draw those. Yeah, we can just separate that. Yeah. That's a page with the leaf margins. Y'all have that page? Take that one, and here's the margins.
Okay. We're behind you.
Oh, okay, all right, I'll slow down. Yep, everybody.
Yeah, we're having a hard time drawing.
Yeah, it's not a test, there's no contest, doesn't have to be perfect, it's the experience of drawing. We're gonna probably, why don't you skip that one, come back to it, and then so leave the page for 2. We're gonna go to chapter 3, leaf attachment. So how does the leaf attach to the stem, right? So many leaves have what's called a petiole or a stalk that goes from the stem to the leaf, and that's how it's attached. All right, but that's not always. A leaf that emerges directly from the wall of the stem is called stalkless or sessile. Right. All the leaves we've drawn so far have petioles, and that is good to help define the base and the tip. Those leaves are called stalks. Petioles come in many lengths, right? So you can also have a leaf that appears to not emerge directly from the stalk or have a petiole, but it's like it's wrapped around the stem, like it's hugging the stem. That's called clasping. Most grass leaves are attached that way. They clasp the stalk down in the bottom of the grass. You don't always see it, but if you were to peel back the leaves of grass, you would see that clasping effect. And there's also one called perfoliate. And it looks kind of strange, but it's really not all that rare. And it looks as if the stem pierced through the leaf, right? And that, if y'all pay attention in the fall, we have boneset, which is a very tall plant that blooms with white flowers in the fall, that blooms on the roadside and in the wild places of bent tree. It has perfoliate leaves. So you'll have a chance to look at that and a reason to stop and observe the boneset plant. It'll have lots of butterflies and lots of bees on it, and it also has perfoliate leaves, which looks like the stem grew up through the middle, like it pierced the leaves.
Will that be on the final?
That'll be on the final. The 5th option is where there is no stem, and those are called basal. Or basal, B-A-S-A-L, and the leaves emerge from the roots of the plant underground. A dandelion is the perfect example of that we're all familiar with. It does not have a stem. It's a grass, clasping. So leaf attachment, chapter 3. Are you an artist? No. All right, those are so good. I mean, not that it's understanding the concept. So basil doesn't have stems. Well, it does look like they have. It does in that picture. So pay no attention to me. How y'all doing?
Good. My bone set's transferred. They're coming up.
You're what?
My bone set's transferred.
Oh, good. Good.
Door, look at that.
Very good, Bob. I know you are. That's great. The attachments?
The way they
All right, so you haven't got to attachments yet. I love that look. Okay. Oh, okay, everybody. So we're on to chapter 4, and if you haven't finished the others, don't worry, you'll have time. Just kind of flip your page over and start with chapter 4. A node is a place on the stem or the branch where a leaf comes out. Sometimes there's a swelling there where the petiole comes out, sometimes not. But opposite leaves mean there are two leaves per nodes. Usually they'll come out left to right from the stem. They're usually 180 degrees apart. Alternate leaves have one node per leaf. Alternate leaf arrangement is most common in the American wild. That's what you'll see most common is alternate. Whorled leaves have more than two. So like the Turk's cap lily that grows here in Bentry naturally has whorled leaves, and they're interesting. So sometimes to decide the leaf arrangement, you have to look up and down the plant. You have to look at the early leaves and the more mature leaves. You have to look at those close to the stem and those far away, because leaves can change their structure as they mature. They can be different at different parts of the plant. They can also disappear. They can be nibbled by a deer. They can be knocked down by wind or rain. So you need to not just look at, anytime you're looking at a plant, don't study on one part only. You need to look across the plant, because you may have picked a part that is not indicative or representative of most of the plant. Okay. All right, so we're going to take some time to work on chapter 4, leaf arrangement.
Or explain nodes again. What
The node,
the leaf? What's the difference?
the node is the place on the stem where the leaf comes out. That's called the node. That's the definition of node.
Right, so you don't see little dots.
You sometimes see a swelling. The stem might have a little bit of a swelling, but not always.
Okay.
It's just by definition the place where the leaf comes out. Okay, we have just two more. Simple or compound, right? This is actually the very first consideration in studying a plant. Whether a leaf is a single unit, one single blade, that's called simple. But a compound leaf has multiple blades, and they're called leaflets. And it can be confusing, because am I looking at 3 leaves, or am I looking at 3 leaflets, and the whole unit is the leaf? Okay, so how you recognize this is you look for clusters in repetitive numbers. Like everybody knows what poison ivy looks like, right? I mean, you can kind of picture that in your head. So poison ivy is a compound leaf. When you see the 3 leaves of 3, let it be, right? That whole group of 3 is the leaf, and each one is called a leaflet, right? Those are not 3 individual leaves. And by looking for clusters in that repetitive numbers, there's all 3, 3, and 3, and 3, and 3, or 5, and 5, and 5, and 5, you can identify a compound leaf structure. And within compound leaf structures, there's 2 types. One is called pinnate. And pinnate is like a feather. That's the Latin word. It means like a feather. And so in botany, the term pinnate, it typically refers to one central vein or one central stem and things that come out from it, like the quill and then the parts of a feather that come out. And poison ivy, for example, is a pinnate leaf structure. And you can notice that the way that you can tell is it'll have a terminal leaf. It'll have the top leaf where it ends, and it usually has a longer petiole or different. I have a picture of poison ivy. I'm going to come around and show this, as opposed to clover, which is also 3 leaflets on a compound leaf structure, but it's called palmate, and it's P-A-L-M, palm, and things that radiate like your fingers do from your palm, things that radiate from a central point equal across that's a palmate leaf structure. It has a radial design. It has no terminal leaflet at the end, okay? So you have to really know whether you're looking at a leaf or a leaflet or a compound leaf, and so that's important. I'm gonna come around and show you.
Okay. So you got you got this done?
Just take a quick look at this.
Yeah.
The pinnate leaf structure on poison ivy. You notice how this has a terminal leaf?
Yes.
This third leaf has a longer petiole, a longer stalk than these two.
Yeah. That's poison ivy?
This is poison ivy, as opposed to clover, where they all come out from the,
Together
when you
at
see
the
them side by
same
side.
amount, right?
And this is called palmate leaf structure, and this is a pinnate leaf structure. And it's all about whether you see that terminal leaf at the end that has the longer petiole.
Okay.
You done with it?
So see the difference between pinnate, the poison ivy has this longer leaf structure, this longer petiole, versus clover, where they all come from exactly the same place. When you see them side by side, you can tell these are all attached at the same point, but these are not. This has that extra piece right there. You can tell the difference, but it's subtle, but that's the difference between a pinnate compound leaf or a palmate.
How about the shoe mark?
The what?
How about the poison shoe mark?
I don't know. I'd have to see what the leaves look like. We can look it up though. All right, so chapter 6 is the last one we're going to document in our books. The other characteristics that we're not going to cover are the stem shape, hairs, if there's hairs on the stem or the leaf, the color, the smell, and the flowers. Those are other ways. But the last one we're going to document is veins. Plants have internal conduits for dispersing water and nutrients throughout. These water tubes are called veins, much like blood in our bodies. They start at the roots and travel upward. Trees have the amazing circulatory systems and layers hidden beneath the outermost layer of bark. But in the leaf is where the veins show themselves, and the pattern of the leaves is called venation. There's 3 basic designs. And you'll often see, and I'm going to pull the plants out and you can look at them, that they're networks of veins. Don't let those secondary veins confuse you. These are the primary veins. All veins enter from the base. They enter the blade from the base. Palmate veins fan out from the base and they never converge again. Parallel veins flare upward and run side by side. Most grasses have parallel veins. Pinnate veins, pinnate again, like a feather. They have the central midrib and the veins come off of that central midrib. And it's the most common pattern for flowering herbaceous plants in the American wild is the pinnate veins. All right, so take a minute with those. I'm going to start passing out plants to your tables and then tell you why. You won't hurt my feelings if you bleed. Let's see.
I didn't do those either, because they're just variations.
Yes. Here you go. What?
They're in the combinations or they all? Usually one of the other.
Y'all have the most interesting one. What's that?
They're usually one or the other, there's not combinations.
The best ones you covered, right?
That one doesn't look like it's doing too well.
Michael?
Well, let's see what we got.
You need a lighter.
I know, well, there's a story behind it. I'm sorry. You guys, we are going to pay attention to these. We are going to do practice time. All right, everybody's ready for this story. An aged medicine woman, Blue Wolf Woman, was a healer in her tribe and the keeper of plant lore for her village. To ensure this knowledge is not lost, she has apprenticed a class in Lake and Wildlife. We're all going to go by the name of Circling Otter to continue her herbal knowledge after she is gone. Just after these folks learned basic plant anatomy, the chief of the tribe falls ill. The medicine women, which is Blue Wolf Woman and all of us, go in search of the plants needed to heal him. During the journey, the old woman is struck by lightning and instantly goes blind and mute. It falls upon Circling Otter to find the plants that are needed to heal the chief. She can ask questions. We can ask questions of Blue Wolf Woman that she can answer with a nod of her head, yes or no. Okay, so you have plants on your table that you can assess in terms of all of the characteristics that we've learned a little about. The leaf shape, the leaf margins, the leaf attachments, the leaf arrangements, simple or compound, and venation, the venation pattern of the leaf. So assess your plant along all these dimensions, and then we will have the opportunity, you will have the opportunity to ask questions to try to identify if your plant is one of the ones needed to heal the chief. If you think it is, but it isn't, you will have killed the chief. And everybody, everybody at the table will have to act out the dying of the chief with the plant that we gave him incorrectly. So have at it. So look at your. So medicine. The old medicine woman knows, and so what your job is to assess your plant to be able to say it has this leaf shape, this leaf margin, this leaf arrangement.
To look back into the.
You're allowed to absolutely. Yes, yes. It's yeah.
Are you done with this?
Yeah. To Linda's question, it is an open book assessment. You can use the papers or what you drew to do your assessment. Look at the margins of the plant. All right, look at the edges. And look at the margins that you were shown, that you drew, or go back to these.
Well, see, mine all look the same.
All right, here. Are they smooth? Does that plant have smooth margins?
No.
Okay, well, that's step one. Okay, here, look at that one then. All right. And use this one.
I don't see what.
Yeah, use this one. All right, so look at the edges.
Yeah, but
Okay, so you can probably eliminate a few. Look closely. What would you guess?
none of them.
You don't think it looks
It's like raggedy all the way up.
okay? Like that maybe? Like that maybe? When you say raggedy, would you maybe serrate?
Well, okay, I take it more literally, like more shape. It could be this one.
Yeah, so okay, well you've narrowed it down, right? To at least a few. How are y'all? Any questions?
Yeah, what if we get things that have more than one, like the veins, they're kind of.
Okay, so what are you looking at? Show me.
Well, we're looking at
Yeah, so
parallel, and we're also looking at.
so look at the major vein structure, just like we in our bodies have a major artery and vein structure, and then it just branches out everywhere and it gets kind of crazy. So don't let it's all about how it comes out of the base.
Okay. That was kind of where we went on. Kind of one of those little.
So do the veins, if they come out of the base in multiple places and they never converge, they never come back together, that's one vein structure. versus if it has a main. So
We're calling this parallel.
um, I,
Yeah, come on, we're ready for the expert opinion.
yeah. Let me get closer. It's a little plant. I have what the paper says. I'm just trying to see how. So I would call it pinnate because it has that one stronger midrib that goes up the middle. And if you look, these other veins come out of that midrib.
Yeah, but well, did they come out of the midrib or did they come out
Of the base. So that would be the difference. If they come out of the
base of the current?
Yes, I would say they come out of the stem, but this is a small plant. There's one particular characteristic of this plant that is unique, is why I picked it. I don't
The
attachment. Yeah, isn't that neat?
Yeah, we were admiring that.
Yes, that's why I picked this one for that. Yes, yeah. But what about the leaf?
Alternate clasping pinnate, right?
Alternate clasping.
Pinnate.
Is pinnate is the vein structure?
Right.
Is it simple or compound? And the leaf shape. Yeah, so just keep going.
Yeah.
This one's tough.
This
is the most interesting.
I've got compound plants here.
This is it. This is a very interesting, and this is an example of a plant where the bottom leaves differ than the top leaves. So usually you wouldn't go for the immature leaves or the base. You want to go up in the middle, if you will, of the plant.
Because these are totally different. These are different.
Totally different. So focus on the leaves in the middle section of the plant. Right?
Where's the ID tag? Yeah, who stole that?
These came out of my yard. These grow as a shrub in South America. They grow as an annual here. I didn't plant them, but I do know what they are.
We have to go get some stuff to Tamarack Treasure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some stuff in the car to get to.
But yeah, so these have a unique leaf structure. I will say what the literature says on them is the best example of what the literature claims the leaf structure of this plant is this one. And we do not have an example of it. We didn't draw it. But what would you call that?
You mean from the one we learned today?
No, I mean, yeah, no, but if you drew it, if you were to take this leaf and you laid it down and you outlined it.
Diamond shape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what the literature says, that this is a diamond shape. Oh. But it's so, that's why I gave it to y'all special.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's like this, what it calls it, but it's not, having different types of leaf shapes is not what would make it compound. So it's
confusing.
So was
yes.
this a lanceolate?
It's diamond is what it calls. We didn't have it.
I don't see a diamond.
But I told you.
That's a trick question.
I told you that we were only going over some of the leaf shapes. Yeah. How do y'all feel about this one? Are we? It's what? It's not. What did you decide it was? Do you know? All right. I know which plant is needed to heal the chief because I am Blue Wolf Woman. So when I come to your table, you can ask one question. It's got to be a yes/no question. Does the plant we need have, whatever you choose, a compound leaf structure? Does it have a pinnate venation? Is it a notched leaf? Is it serrated leaf? Whatever question you think will narrow down and say, is my plant one of the plants? And everybody will hear the answer. So I know we're getting long on time. Everybody's anxious, but hopefully you've enjoyed assessing these plants. And when we finish, before y'all head out, I have dandelion tea and wild violet tea, and also a wild greens salad that is basically violet is the base. Came out of my yard this morning with some other leaves for accents, more stronger tasting and a little bit of dressing if you'd like to sample it, if you're feeling adventurous. I promise none of it is poisonous. It is all edible. And I took it from the part of the yard where the dog doesn't go. So it's all good. Okay. So let's start with here. One question from this table, and y'all listen because then it may help you evolve your question. To say, does anybody ready with a question? They don't want to go first. All right. Okay, we're going to start right here. Jan?
Is the shape of the leaf, leaf shape, ovate?
Ovate. Is the shape, this is the question that goes to Blue Wolf Woman, is the leaf shape ovate?
You Google don't agree.
What?
No, we're talking about the killer
Oh,
plant.
so the plant we're looking for does not have an ovate leaf shape.
And that's the killer plant.
No, we're looking for the healing plant. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So anybody else have a question about okay, Gary?
The attachment, is it clasping?
Is the leaf attachment clasping, he asked. And the answer is, anybody else have a question? Elden?
Is the leaf shape stellate?
What's the question?
Is the leaf shape stellate, he asked. Mary Lou?
Is the leaf shape cordate?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Given that, does anybody want to take a guess on do they have the healing plant? So for a first yes.
How many questions there should?
Huff has a question. Remember, if you say I have it and it's wrong, you've killed the chief.
A question for you. Do you know that when this plant blooms, it's excellent for hummingbirds? Are you aware of that? Okay. Are you?
Well, we're asking questions about leaf shape
Okay.
to try to identify the healing plant.
We have the healing plant because this will actually.
Because the leaf shape is cordate.
Oh, okay.
That we've already decided that leaf shape was cordate. I'm sorry? He didn't have a question, really. I mean, he asked if he had a piece of information that plant, when it blooms, is good for hummingbirds, which is good, right? And okay, does anybody think they know? Yes. Question?
Is it the leaf shaped coronate like that?
Yes.
So we have the healing plant.
No, you don't. You don't. Okay, you killed the chief up here. All right, everybody at this table. All right, let me see it. Come on, John. Like this, Peter, Nita, Jean. You killed it. Okay. All right, so we're still looking. We didn't have quite enough information to identify the plant. Does anybody else think they have the healing plant? Does anybody else think they have the healing plant? Or a question? We think we have the healing plant. We have wild violet. That is right. Here is the healing plant. All right, we have healed the chief. So thank you. Thank you for participating. If you want to see clasping, a leaf attachment, come see the clasping goldenrod. It's very cool. Compound leaf structure here is compound. These are compound leaves. This Cuban jute over here is like crazy. This is an example of we can look at different parts of a plant and be hard pressed to say what the leaf structure was because it varies so much from plant to plant. The wild violet, which we all have. Y'all, this is the coolest plant, and it has a heart-shaped leaf, and it also has a palmate vein structure, which is an unusual characteristic. Yes? Deer will eat it, yes. I'm sorry? This is cranesbill geranium. This also grows in my yard. The deer do not eat this. Kenny doesn't like it that much. He says it looks like a weed. I'm like, leave it. It doesn't flower. It has tiny flowers, but, and I'm still waiting to see the flower to.
There is one right here.
Oh, okay. I just dug these up. Oh, there. See, you'll see it's the tiniest of flowers, and I'm just trying to make sure that it is cranesbill geranium as opposed to some other variety. I don't know if none of these would kill the chief, but we were looking for what would heal the chief. So whenever you're unsure that you have the right plant, then you need to be cautious, right? Yes, I made tea out of the flowers, and you can taste it.
Is this simple or complex?
Simple. This is a hyssop. Yeah, I got those.
Which of these the deer don't eat? I had 20 deer in my yard this morning.
Oh gosh. Goldenrod they don't eat, right, Barbara? But talk to Barbara about what will they not eat, right? Okay, some of these will be for sale at Tamarack Treasures, potted in nice pots and along with other plants, native plants. All right, so just leave the plants on your table, take your books. Please continue to just look at the plants around you. Now maybe you have a little bit more reason to pay attention to some of these details, and you'll find them infinitely fascinating. And there's always something else to learn about the plants around you. And come sample. And you can leave the tables and chairs if you want. Go look at all the other plants too before you leave. Thank you.
Save the chief. The violet?
The violets, the wild violets. All right, here we go. Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
She was there this morning, and they're there at noon.
I'm going to be in town. No, I'm not next weekend, but the following, if she comes every year.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
the first year I've seen her.
Okay, good. All right.
Were they here for like 3 days?
Yeah, you could just leave them on the table.
Yeah, yeah. What's your house?
It is, I just put some pansy leaves for color. It's mostly wild violet leaves. There is some clover leaf, some dock. There is some catchweed for accent and a yellow wood sorrel for accent. Some of those are stronger. Would you like to try it?
What do you have? I would.
It is wild violet is the most of the base because it's a milder, here you go, a milder.
All right, the violet.
And it's got some pansy leaves. They don't much taste like, there's some violet leaves. Most of these are pansy leaves just because they're bigger. They don't much taste like. There's some, the dressing has some wild onion. It has catchweed. It has a little, it's stronger than we're used to, right? We're used to a little bit of, would you like to try it? Is it bad? Should I make small? Do you like it?
I do.
Good. Good. You want some, don't you? Yeah, absolutely. Pansy petals. It's got catchweed, a little bit of accent. That's catchweed just for accents. You would pull it up out of your yard and throw it away. Yes, that's wild violet leaves for the most part.
Well, have you ever had nasturtiums?
Yes, yeah, I don't have any to. All right, who wants to try?
That looks good.
Yeah.
You gonna try it?
I'm collecting actually right now.
No?
I'm good. You don't think I'm bringing or no, that's
Why? So that if you go, I won't see you?
no.
Well, look, Mary Lou ate all of hers.
This was all in your yard?
Yes. Well, not the pansies. I got them from the back gate.
Okay, Dara, give me mine. We've never had this color. It's good.
Yeah, who wants to try?
I will.
All right.
Take the time to make it. I definitely. Do you wash the leaves?
Oh, yes, yes.
So how do you just like in a?
I just put them in a colander and then,
spray them like with the.
yeah, with the
sprayer,
yeah.
And then dry 'em.
And dry them off a little bit. And the dressing's just oil and vinegar, salt, pepper, and some wild onion for flavor. It's got wild, yellow sorrel.
So the tensies, what do they taste?
They don't have much of a taste. They're for color. They're just pretty. It's got a little bit of clover.
That's really good.
Good. All right. Who wants to try?
I'm good. Bye.
No? No? All right. You should go listen to them over there. They're saying it's good.